现在是下午的2点钟。
It is 2
好，感谢各位媒体朋友们来参与我们今天的国际记者会。 今天我们要非常沉痛的开这场记者会。
Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the press, thank you very much for coming to the international press conference. It is with grief that we want to tell everyone in Taiwan and in the international community what's going on in Taiwan. What we're looking at is injustice in the political landscape in Taiwan. We're looking at political persecution in Taiwan, and the international press conference will also be live streamed in English because we want to make sure that the communication is smooth. So we have actually two chat rooms or 2 channels, and if you want to listen to the international conference in English, you can leave your request in the chat box, and then our staff will send you the link to the English room. Right now, this morning, we just heard from Taipei District Prosecutor's Officer, knowing that they are fabricating ungrounded allegations against Dr. Ke. That is why we are holding this international press conference, and we have a lot of staff members from the TPP with us today in the afternoon, and I'd like them to stand up when their names are being read. This is the convener in TPP, also Dr. Huang Guoqiang, Li Weihuang. These are the conveners, and followed by the MPs, Mai Yuzhen, Wu Chuncheng, Chen Zhaozi, Zhang Qikai, Lin Guocheng,
还有我们的中央委员张凯军、
李义军。
接下来还有我们的新竹市议员李国章、
张凯军、
台北市议员张志豪。
So those are TPP legislators. These are councilors from TPP. They represent Hsinchu and Taipei and different areas.
接下来，在这个
This is also our TPP legislator, Vivian Huang. So at the very beginning of the international press conference, we would like to invite the convener, Lin Funan, onto the stage for his opening remarks. This台要没电了。
各位现场的记者女士、朋友们，以及
Ladies and gentlemen,
国人同胞
all of the journalists at the international press conference, and
大家午安。
everyone in Taiwan and in the international community, everyone who supports democracy, good afternoon.
台湾民众党主席柯文哲
This morning, Taipei District Prosecutor's Office made an announcment and several allegations against 柯文哲. TDPO concluded its investigation and decided to indict him and charge him for different crimes and asked for a sentence of 28.5 years. The investigation took a long time, and they couldn't find much evidence. To begin with, in the first place,柯文哲is not a greedy person. He is not a corrupt person. He is not the kind of person who wants money. So TDPO was looking for pieces of evidences, and they used unclear hints and clues. Without telling us when and where, they were telling us a story about what he did in a story. So prosecutors are now actually political assassinators for the ruling party. This is a political assassination. 柯文哲 represents 3.69 million citizens in Taiwan. He is supported by 3.69 million voters. He is the candidate that they support for Taiwan's presidency. So persecuting him is betraying the political willness. Persecuting him is betraying the political will of the 3.6 million people. He is framed. And in the papers that we received today, we can tell so clearly that the ruling government is persecuting him. The Lai administration took the last months to mobilize the political party, the police, and the media to manipulate the general public. And this is all a political effort to strike on Lai's political enemy. And we believe that the kind and supportive Taiwanese people also firmly believe that Ke is innocent. He is not the kind of person who take money or bribery.柯文哲will never take money from illicit channels. What we're defending here is not only柯文哲's reputation and innocence. What's more important here is we in Taiwan have to support the fairness and equality of the justice system in Taiwan. We in Taiwan should stand together to defend the integrity of Taiwan's justice system. Taiwan's democracy values is reflected in this case. We cannot accept a political or a politician being smeared. So we need to pay attention, and we need to ask the Lai administration to stop right away, to stop the persecution, to stop interfering the justice system or the judicial system. If the judicial system becomes a political tool, how can we face all of the leaders and civil rights supporters and advocates ahead of us? Let's spare 1 minute and think about this quietly. Can we really take this? Ke's hands are helping hands. He was a surgeon, so he was clean and helpful. And now we want to handcuff him. So this is the time for us to really think about this, to ask the judicial system not to be a political tool. Thank you very much.
我们希望赖政府不要再将政治黑手
Thank you very much, Mr. Lin.
今天我们
We expect the Lai administration to stop interfering the judicial system, and we all watched the press conference from the Taipei District Prosecutor's Office this morning. So line by line, bullet by bullet, we are going to clarify all of the allegations. We want to show you how fragile these accusations are. So next, we are going to invite Dr. Huang Guochang onto the stage to explain all this for all of us.
各位媒体的朋友，以及在网络上面。
Thank you very much. I want to thank everyone here. I want to thank everyone in the press and everyone who's watching this international press conference online. This morning at 10 o'clock, Taipei District Prosecutor's Office organized a press conference and decided to accuse the party president, Dr. Ke, of several criminal crimes. So from 10 o'clock this morning, we have been watching the entire press conference. And I believe that many journalists and netizens were also watching the press conference. In response to the TDPO and their allegations, including the press releases distributed to journalists, I believe that we all share a feeling. That is, President Ke or Dr. Ke has been detained for 4 months. After 4 months, these prosecutors could not present anything. They couldn't present any solid evidence. And they are accusing Dr. Ke of bribery. I believe that they have very little confidence. Why would I say that? Because they didn't take questions at the press conference. And so far, at this point, the TDPO has not shared or publicized any evidence list online. I believe this is because they couldn't find anything. They don't have much evidence. That's why they're holding it. So let's take a look at the presentation. TDPO said that Dr. Ke took bribery. So my question is, when was that? Since when the allegations against politicians in Taiwan about taking bribery are made without evidence? So they are accusing Dr. Ke of taking $15 million, but they are not telling us when this happened or from where. There was only one vague line without the support of evidence. So they're smearing Dr. Ke by telling us that he has taken that bribery. TDPR has not only been a master of running investigations for political reasons, they are also really good at political manipulation. So this is because the government wants headlines tomorrow to tell everyone in Taiwan that Ke will be charged or maybe sentenced for 28 years and 6 months. So I was asked by several journalists this morning, and they asked me that now Dr. Ke may be facing a sentence of 28 years and 6 months, and is it possible? So my response is that has Taiwan's justice system become so low that prosecutors now can ask for sentences like this? I think from the first place, we can tell very clearly that the prosecutors are playing with the press. They are asking the press to magnify the mistakes of Dr. Ke, to portray him as a villain. So let's go into the details.
In the 28-year sentence, the most vital part is the 15 million Taiwanese dollars in bribery that he allegedly accepted. We are going to take a look at what happened over the past few months in online media and in political talk shows and in the irresponsible allegations given by politicians. They have been accusing Dr. Ke of taking bribery. From Zhong Xiaoping, who said that Ke took 300 million or 17 million in cash or this amount in Bitcoin till today. That now the TDPO has not said anything about it. They are saying that Dr. Ke accepted $15 million in the mayor's office. They looked for it everywhere. They looked for it in the Core Pacific construction site. They looked for it in the Singapore, the account in Singapore. That they've been looking for evidence everywhere, and they claim that they have the evidence, but nothing is mentioned in the indictment. So these people, I'm hoping that you will offer a public response today. All these people on the screen. Everything that you have wrongly accused of Dr. Ke will be left forever in Taiwan's history of democracy as a shameful act. That you are making the prosecutor's office, the political party, and media as one thing to make so many lies over the past few months. So I'm asking you, where's the money? Where's the wallet? Where's the Bitcoin? And where is the offshore account? TDPO is taking part in this smear campaign. Now, we will take a look at what TDPO did say. They said that Ke took 15 million in bribery. But everyone is waiting. Everyone is waiting to find out when and how Ke took this money. We never expected TDPO to have deteriorated so far, that they have detained Ke for 4 months without knowing where the money is and when he took it. They have zero evidence. There is nothing in the indictment that says Ke took this $15 million by himself. Everybody who knows a little bit about laws in Taiwan should know that $15 million weigh a lot in cash. From Shen Qingjing asking his secretary to take out all that cash from the bank. And they said all this money was given to Ko. Let's ignore where the money actually did go. TDPO has no evidence to accuse Ko of taking that cash. So what is worse is that I believe in the legal proceedings, and all the evidence has been shown to the public. You will know that Shen Qingjing or the Core Pacific Group, that each month and each week, there is a lot of money coming in and going out. I repeat, each month and each week, people in real estate development will have a lot of cash flow coming in and going out. So that they basically randomly picked a timeline to say that, okay, $16 million was taken out, and there was no evidence saying the $16 million went to Dr. Ko. They have no evidence supporting that statement. And what is worse is that they don't even have a statement from any witness. No single witness participated in this money changing hands. However, TDPO in the indictment stated that Ko took the money personally. I believe that this has contradicted the story that has been going around media over the past few months. They are saying that there is a secret accountant of Ko, and simply because she is not in Taiwan for the moment, that Ko is going to collude with her. However, if you read the indictment carefully, you will see that there is a statement of the money being given to Ko personally, but still they cannot name the time and place. This contradicts the story This contradicts the story that has been going around the media of this person handling the secret cash flow for Ko. Another story is that this person named Zhu Yahu found 7 people to deposit money to the TPP political donation account. I don't know when legal political donations can be distorted as bribery. No, none of this money went to Ko's pocket. However, they said that each of these 7 people deposited $300,000 to the account. So I would like to ask TDPO whether they have any common sense. Which political figure takes bribery in this manner? Which political character takes bribery like this? In the 15 million part, Ko is being asked a sentence of this many years. And this story has been going around for months. But now that we have the truth, they have no cash flow. They don't have a clear story. They have no evidence, but it is still being used to seek a sentence. Second of all, TDPO continue to repeat the same story, the same old story. They are still accusing Ko of taking bribery from the Core Pacific Mall. And they are saying that they are saying that he violated the law, but this part is completely fabricated. First of all, when did he take part in the forum held by Department of Urban Development can serve as a piece of evidence? He was the mayor. He participated in the forum of the Department of Urban Development. How can this be distorted as illegal intention? In this description, it keeps saying that according to the Urban Renewal Act, it is illegal to exchange that for the floor area ratio. I would like to ask TDPO whether they read the documents carefully. The 20% of the floor area ratio, how does that have anything to do with the Urban Renewal Act? This actually was part of the Urban Planning Act that is completely normal and legal. So, as you can see in Article 24, the landowner is entitled to apply for approval.
So this is based on the Urban Planning Act, and it has never a part of the urban renewal project. So I don't know why this incentive can be included in one of the evidences for charging him. Basically, all of the floor area ratio increase is in the urban renewal proposal. So I still believe that this is ungrounded accusation. And then if we take a look at the detailed proposal, then you'll find that all of the city governments and county governments, not only Taipei city governments, all of the local governments have the liberty of giving a 20% extra incentive. So this is not limited to Taipei city government, and this is not limited to Ke Wen-je. This is not a privilege granted to Dr. Ke Wen-je. This is applicable to all cities and counties. So let's go back to this. Since this summer, the DPP government has been using the Core Pacific City allegation to persecute Dr. Ke Wen-je. And then many political experts and legal experts cannot accept this. And they have been telling people that this is not bribery, because there are two components in the definition of bribery. And what Ke Wen-je offered was not an element of bribery, because according to the act governing the city government's autonomy, city mayors have the liberty and the authority to give an extra 20% award or incentive. So this is the right for local governments. And you can find the law and regulation in the legal database in the Ministry of Interior. So why is he accused of being illegal? This is nothing illegal. Again, Ke Wen-je did not violate the laws, and there was no criminal intention. Dr. Shi Weichen or Professor Shi Weichen has also pointed out that the urban planning proposal or the urban planning review committee was in the framework of the city government. So the review committee was organized to review the redevelopment proposal. So there's nothing illegal here organizing or holding this review committee. So again, when we look into the definition of bribery, a bribery is an illegal act. But as you can see that the review panel or the review committee was set up legally. And the 20% was also given out legally. So next point, Li Dechen has also made it clear that Ke Wen-je was actually respecting the unanimous decision of the review committee. And the review committee was following the laws when it was giving out the 20% of floor area ratio increase as an incentive. So, as I've already elaborated, all of these were legal, and we have gone through thorough discussions on these topics this summer. The TPP has made it very clear to the general public. I didn't expect that the TDPO was still using these to fabricate allegations against Ke Wen-je. So why do I say that these are intended framing? Because obviously the Living Mall or the Core Pacific City project was not an exception. There are other redevelopment proposals that were given incentives. We have seen examples in other cities. So the Core Pacific City project was not an exception. It was not the only redevelopment project that was given this incentive. Also in Taipei, in the previous administration, using the same legal framework, the previous Taipei City government incentivized other developers too. And then President Lai was the mayor of Tainan before he became the president. And when he was the mayor there were also renewal or redevelopment project in Tainan, and the incentive grew from 180% to 400%. And Dr. Ke was only giving out 20% in comparison. And the 20% decision was based on the unanimous decision of the Urban Renewal Review Committee. So that was not even his personal decision. He was respecting the decision made by other people, and it became a policy to give the 20% incentive or reward. So why do we call this a political persecution or political assassination? Because it's so obvious that Lai could do that, but Ke could not. So this is obvious that there's a pattern. Lai could do this, but not Ke. So this is so ridiculous. And then, right now, obviously, no matter what's written in the Urban Development Act or what's written in the incentive policy, Ke is charged and accused. And then people are saying that, oh, the floor area ratio is right now 848%. This is obviously wrong. There must be something wrong. There must be something going on. Okay, let's take a look at this. So there are other cases in Kaohsiung there's a Ambassador Hotel in Kaohsiung, and it was given 1,142.4% incentive. This is another example telling everyone that the green camp can do this, but not the white camp. Moreover, at that time, the Kaohsiung city government did not disclose this incentive or reward. So the lack of disclosure shows that obviously there are more government officials involved in giving out this floor area ratio increase. So before the TDPO used detention as a deterrence tool to ask people to provide information, the Taipei City Council Task Force investigated the case, and the task force was directed by KMT councilors and also DPP councilors. So right now, let's take a look at the reports. This is the response from Peng Zhenshen. He was the former deputy mayor. And then he said that he was not instructed by the mayor. And also, there are other government officials saying that there's no instructions from the upper level or from their supervisors. And then Huang Jingmao said that, of course, there's no instruction on this. We did everything according to the procedures and the regulations. And also there's a quote saying that we did all this based on the consensus of the Urban Development Review Committee. So these are quotes from the report, and this report was compiled by a task force, and there was no councilor from our party in the task force. So if that's illegal, if that violates the regulations, then the next key question is, why didn't they indict all of the committee members? They decided to give this 20% incentive after their discussions. That's their agreement, right? So let's use some logic. So if all that is illegal, then these committee members should be indicted, right? They should have been accused. In the end, it is Dr. Ke, who was the mayor, who respected the consensus of the committee members, that was accused. So if this is not political persecution, if this is not political assassination, I don't know what is. If this is not fabricating, I don't know what is. So right now, in the investigation of bribery, there's no evidence of this $15 million. We can only see that Dr. Ke was framed by the justice system. We can only see that Dr. Che was being destroyed by the political party, by the prosecutors, and by the media. There were so many different rumors. Everyone was trying to frame him. I want everyone involved in the manipulation and the wrongful allegation to really think about this and come forward and apologize. So in this indictment, I want to reiterate and highlight that Ke Wen-je was detained for 4 months. He was detained for 4 months. And after the 4 months, the prosecutors in the TTPO, they are the best of the best. We cannot believe that the best prosecutors of the best prosecutors could only come up with somewhere, sometime. So in the indictment, there's a sentence saying that somewhere, sometime, Ke took the $15 million in cash personally. So if this is not political persecution, if this is not political assassination, I don't know what is. So if such prosecution is not persecution, I don't know what is. And in the indictment, finally, after 4 months, there were some doubts. Finally, these doubts are clarified after 4 months. So they couldn't find the $15 million in Chen Peiqi's bank account, in Ke Wen-je's house, in his cold wallet, in his mayor office, in Singapore, or in the construction site of the Living Mall, and in the sewage system. This week, the latest information is that the $50 million have been flushed into the sewage system. Okay, if you believe so, go check it out. 4 months. You spent 4 months now. You cannot be excused. All of the areas that you should have searched or you should not have searched. Are you able to locate the $15 million?
The 2.1 million, none of it went to Ko's pocket. However, it is now being accused of as bribery. After reading the indictment, the only sentence stating that the 2.1 million is bribery is the only person that has made it safe out of this case. His name is Zhu Yahu. The story that we got during the legal proceedings, we will present it fully during the legal proceeding. We have evidence that Zhu Yahu was sent to Beijing by Shen Qingjing. And Shen said wanted to appoint Zhu in his company as high-level management. However, this plan was interrupted. And Zhu came back, and he stayed in the hospital for a very long time. Zhu and Shen had a lot of personal hatred. So that is why Zhu had a lot of bad points of view. However, if he wants vengeance, but he is involving Ko in the story, that is wrong. When we do cross-interrogation during the legal proceedings, we will prove that Zhu is accusing Ko maliciously. And now Zhu is basically receiving preferential treatment because he is willing to collaborate with TTPO's story. But I am asking you to think about one thing, one very simple thing. So Ko is being accused of taking a bribe from Shen. As a mayor, Ko is being accused of taking bribery. However, the bribery is only 2.1 million deposited to the account of TPP by 7 people.
结果
However, I can tell you that none of this money went to Co's pocket.
直接把这210万
However, the prosecutors, when they could not find the flow of money, they are saying that this 2.1 million of legal political donation is illegal bribery and corruption.
一定会还给柯文
We
哲
believe
清白。
that in the following proceedings,
检署起诉柯文哲收贿
Co will be proven
相关
to be
的人
innocent.
根本不堪最基本的
That
检验。
for the
谢谢
moment, all the accusations made by TDPO will not be proven true or correct. So now you can see that these are our evidence against TDPO's indictment this morning. And now we are going to talk about the other points that are mentioned in the indictment. And we will have the Secretary General tell us more about it.
第二个部分，我们要谈的是政治现金的公益新档案。对台湾民众党而言，这是一个抄家灭
So
党。
the second case is political donation.
赖清德政府
However, this is actually an attempt to eliminate political rival from the Lai administration. The Lai administration is using the country to eliminate his political rival.
侵占政治现金。请问北检有哪
First
一
of all,
块政治现金的
Ko never took the political donation for himself. I would like to ask CDPO
本来就
what money went to Ko's pocket. Ko's political donation account is legally and rightfully
想
his
一想，北检的
to
逻辑
use.
是柯文哲
So
侵占了
everybody
柯文
who
哲的
cares
政治
about this case,
这刚我哈地，我再讲一次，柯文
the
哲侵占了柯文哲的
TDPO's
政治
story is that Ko took
等一下
Ko's political donation. I will say that again. Ko took Ko's political donation.
柯文哲的演唱会
We can see that in the indictment.
其实是
It is actually very chilling
各位在起诉书里面的新闻资料看到，北检的
because
认识
essentially
用法
the Ko-P show is the money that he would get from publishing a
票的
book.
价格很高，
However, TDPO is saying that the Ko-P show, the tickets were very expensive, so they were just like political donation. What's the logic? Because it's expensive, so it's political donation?
挪用众望基金会的捐款支付进总员工的薪资，所以他背信。
Moreover, they said
众望
that
基金会
Ko
平常从事的是
took
社福
money from his foundation, TPSF, to pay for his employees. TPSF is a foundation that engages in social charity, and it offered Ko feedback on his long-term care policy. As a matter of fact, the foundation is not different from DPP's New Frontier Foundation. You can see on this card that this is the person in charge of the New Frontier Foundation. And back at the time, he also served on Lai's team when he was running for president. So TDPO, according to TDPO's logic, then the New Frontier Foundation also took advantage of Lai's political donation. So if we follow this logic, they also misappropriated political donation. Do you think this makes any sense? I would like to reiterate that the foundation, the TPSF and New Frontier Foundation operate and functions in exactly the same way. But now they are accusing Ko, while it is completely okay for President Lai to do exactly the same thing. Why is that? So accusation on Muko, the authorization fee being too high. They are asking for Muko to give back some of the money. And for the moment, because the money has been frozen by the judicial system, there is nothing we can do for the moment. However, Muko is the same when Lai and when Tsai were running for presidents. It is exactly the same mechanism. That when other people did it, it was okay, but when Ko did it, he is guilty. The indictment only proves that the accountant manipulated the books so that now TPP looks guilty. So for the political donation, we already submitted everything we could back in October. We already notified, but we were told that we will wait for the case to be closed to notify TPP to submit evidence. And because TPP is not Ko, we will have to go through a procedure to submit evidence on Ko's behalf. I can tell you that at this moment I am standing here, I have not received said letter.
Next, we can see that right now the political party, the prosecutors and the media could not find any evidence. And then Ke was summoned and questioned for several times. Right now, the ruling party is trying to kill the third party. And all of the witnesses have been asked or deposed for several times. So this is a political campaign to kill the third party or the minor party. And there's no specific target. Basically, everyone involved is considered a target. As we can see in the history of Taiwan's democracy, Huang Xinjie, a former leader of the DPP, was also persecuted by the then police force and the military force, and he was surrounded by a police force. And Mr. Huang told his mom that, oh, these are my friends, and they're just inviting me over for some questions, and I'll be right back. I believe that when Dr. Ke was taken, he was as kind as Mr. Huang. I want to make it really clear here that, in fact, I was very moved and touched, and I want the TDPO to run the case fairly and in a just way. Okay, thank you very much for clarifying the case and for letting us know that in the accusation regarding political donations, all of the allegations are not grounded, and the accusations are fabricated. So at the end of the press conference, we would like to invite Dr. Huang Guochang back to the stage again to wrap up for all of us. I believe at this moment, TPP members, staff members at the press conference, as well as supporters and citizens in Taiwan are really concerned with the case. I'm not talking about Dr. Ke's supporters or Dr. Ke's fans. I'm not talking about the party members only. I mean that many people are watching this show. 4 months ago, Dr. Ke was taken, his house was searched, the TPP headquarters was searched, and after 4 months, Taipei District Prosecutor's Office was trying to detain people and request for their statement or testimonies. They were asking many different people questions, and there are so many staff members, innocent staff members, who were asked to answer questions at the prosecutor's office or at the anti-corruption task force. So, in the meantime, TPP will follow and abide by the principle of non-disclosure during investigation and prosecution. We have withheld our anger and frustration. But today, the investigation is concluded. Today is the day when the investigation is concluded. It concludes the investigation in the last 4 months. So we have seen that they're not doing their jobs. We have seen that they're misusing their powers and authority. And we want to show you the truth. We want to show the truth, present the truth to everyone in Taiwan. Taiwan's democracy is the contribution of so many people ahead of us. So Taiwan's justice system should not be as corrupt as it is today. So President Lai Ching-te is using two tools at the same time, two weapons, you can say. One is prosecution, the other one is the media. I am inviting all of the journalists in Taiwan and all of the citizens in Taiwan to take a look at what TDPO is doing, what TDPO is showing us today. This is a violation of our private life. And what they're showing us today has nothing to do with all of the allegations that they're making. So if you have any evidence, just show it to the public. So why are they doing this? Because they want to mobilize the supportive media outlets and people online to murder Ke Wen-je's political identity, to murder Ke Wen-je's political persona. You are prosecutors, but now you've become weapons of the ruling party. You've been weaponized. You have forgotten the basic foundation of the legal system. You have forgotten the principles of your jobs. So I want people here to pay attention to what's going on right now. The non-disclosure period has ended. And right now, we ask Taipei local court, the district court, to we demand open trials. So no more secret. In the last 4 months, nothing can be publicized because nothing can be disclosed during the investigation and prosecution. But that was over. So right now we demand open trials. We want the court to open up everything. This is the basic principle of a country that respects laws and orders. Open trials means that you are overseen by the people of Taiwan. So right now, nothing is secret. Nothing can be done secretly. In the last 4 months, the TDPO was really secretive. But in the end, what did they find? Nothing. So after 4 months of working underground, they are not showing us anything grounded. So stop the prosecution, stop the persecution. Stop detaining Ko Wen-je and asking him for testimony or confessions. I think 4 months is long enough. So right now, I'm asking the court to follow all of the due procedures to release Dr. Ko Wen-je. This is the shared expectation of everyone in TPP. We believe in the integrity and innocence of Dr. Ko Wen-je. We have never doubted that. And the TDPO today showed us a very vague, very empty, very shallow indictment. Most importantly of all, is ungrounded. So, believing in the innocence and integrity of Dr. Ko Wen-je, I believe that the trial will disclose the truth and let everyone know that in the end, Dr. Ko has been innocent all the time. So, right now, we'd like to invite all of the conveners and the Secretary General to the stage. We're now taking questions from the journalists. So again, we want to highlight here that what we saw this morning is the misuse of judicial power. So we ask the court for open trials. And now, after everyone's seated, we're taking questions.
So now the floor is open for questions from the media. Since our time is limited, there's a microphone here that you can use when you want to ask your question. I would like to know, now there are some supporters saying that they want to gather in front of the TDPO office. Will you participate in that?
我想先说明哦，台湾民众党，我们绝对支持。
I would like to first explain that TPP supports judicial independence and justice. Since we support judicial justice and independence, we cannot accept that the Lai administration has been attacking his main political opponent by the misuse of judicial power. Now that the investigation has concluded, and like I said, I would like to see an open trial because this is a basic mechanism for the rule of law. With Ko's supporters, with the supporters of TPP, if they want to voluntarily gather in front of TDPO to express their support, this is the basic rights guaranteed by our Constitution. And TPP would like to express their gratitude and support to this initiative. And if there are enough supporters and citizens that care about this case, I would like to say that TPP is also part of the citizens, and we also might join them in supporting Ko. And this, I believe, is natural, is only natural.
这边2个问题想请教，就是第一个，现在北检有整理，大约是6000万，说是柯文哲利用木可来签并占政治现金，还要申请法院来没收跟追讨。如果到时候真的法院裁定的话，所以说这个6000万
cleared out about $60 million from Muko as a wrongful political donation, and they would like these assets to be frozen. And the second question is, TDPO said that Ko has misappropriated political donation, but it also mentioned that during the campaign that Ko sold some products with the money going in Muko instead of the political donation account. Do you have any explanation for that?
政治现金，我刚刚讲过，它的认识用法非常让我们觉得惊世骇俗。就商业的角度，商业木可是民间公司。
TDPO,
政治现金是政治。
their knowledge and their understanding of political donation is, frankly speaking, shocking. In terms of business practices, political donation is entirely independent and separate. And I see that they are mixing political donation with regular business practices.
配语的第一题是那个未来的返还。
So I think we have answered both questions here. Muko is a marketing company. So the first question is about giving back the money that went to Muko. So Muko,
应该是比较精准的说，应该是柯
文哲
的竞选总部来讲
relevant business practices, to be precise, to PPP, Ko was a victim. This is something that we already mentioned in summer. President Ko held a press conference back in summer with everybody in his campaign, telling him clearly about where the money went. So they discovered the money that was overcharged, and they already commissioned the lawyer to deal with this. However, if there is anything that can be considered as illegal by TDPO, I believe that Muko has to reply to this question instead of Ko.
想请问一下，就是前新竹市长高虹安涉嫌诈领助理被起诉的时候，中评会火速就暂。
Gao Hong'an was involved in other allegations, and then her political rights were suspended. And right now, Dr. Ke is being indicted. Will his political rights in the party be suspended too? So the conveners and the Secretary General had a meeting, and we are acutely aware of the fact that this prosecution is actually a political persecution. So in response to that, when we are reviewing the case, we will respect the investigation results and decision of the Central Review Committee. So that's the first point of my response. And secondly, right now, the person that we're talking about is being detained, and this is a major event. Our Central Review Committee would usually interview the person in person. So right now the interview has to be suspended. So we're not making the final decision at this point. So my question is that the supporters will be gathering around TDPO. Are you afraid of losing supporters? TPP is running as usual, and we have a contingency task force. So the party affairs are being managed as usual. In the last 4 months, when our party president was detained and persecuted, all of the staff members and all of the supporters and all of the fans are only becoming more united. We are working harder. We are delivering the best of our efforts in our positions. And I know that some media outlets are teaming up with the Light administration, and they're using their media influence as propaganda, and I am asking you to stop that. As we can see from this morning, that the last 4 months has been ridiculous and nonsense. So I believe it's time to take the right actions, correct what you have been doing wrong, apologize for what you've been doing wrong, and we should restore the justice system.
因为您身为这个科唯一的指定中央委员，然后也是科多年的好友，然后有这个经营管理的能力嘛，被视为这个目前党内高层最没有争议的人选。那如果今天科主席没办法顺利交保，您让李需要在一起帮忙来。
controversial person for the acting president. So if the party president cannot come back, are you going to take the position of the acting president? So to answer your question, my answer has been the same. We don't have an acting president, and we are not running in different directions or taking instructions from multiple leaders. And if anyone is proposing that, we will not accept it. We will wait for the return of Dr.柯文哲. 柯文哲 will definitely 100% continue to be the leader of TPP. I have a question about Ms. Tsai Bi-ru. I believe that she has already resigned from Taichung and she's running for the presidency for TPP. Can we get any feedback from you? So I believe that the last response was clear enough. We don't have an acting president, so there's no need to run for presidency.
提问一下，想问一下怎么看？就是接下来北市可能会有动作，就是收回金华城20%的容积奖励。那另外一题就是想问一下关于是黄珊珊委员的部分，因为现在
government may take some actions following the indictment and cancel the reward and pause the construction. So we'd like to know what you think about this. And there are also some feedback from different politicians. There are some KMT councillors who said that there are double standards. So the previous responses have been very clear. There's little evidence about the bribery of $15 million. There were only 3 pieces of evidence. There's a withdrawal, there's a balance sheet, and then there's a text message. So the text message that we talked about was before the election, and then we were talking about fundraising. And when he sent me the message, I believe that he was asking about previous donations and if there's any follow-up about that. And this is a different matter from the 15 million so-called bribery. So there are only 3 pieces of evidences, and all of them are really fragile. None of them can prove that there's such a bribery. There's only an irrelevant text message. So my response to this is that it's pure fabrication.
是否吗？我想这个就还是要尊重市政府的。
What was your first question?
我们依然是。
Oh, you asked about Taipei City government. So I believe that you should direct your question to Taipei City government. Okay, there's no way we can answer the question on behalf of Taipei City government.
来下一个，来3例。
So you're asking about the current Taipei City government, right? So you should redirect the question to the current mayor. I have a question about Chen Zhihan, Vicky Chen. This is a question about the discount code that your influencers gave out during the campaign. So we'd like to know what you think about that. And also, in the indictment, mentioned a $1 million investment in media, so we'd like to know your response to those points. I believe that our Secretary General has made it very clear that Muko is a private company that sells fundraising merchandises, so these are commercial gains. It's ridiculous to connect these sales to political donations, and the TDPO is saying that it has plans to initiate another case about this. So this is pure intimidation. And then the investment you asked about, we can see that the evidences were very fragile. And if the TDPO is framing our party presidents for taking political donations, then obviously they're using the media investment as another way to frame him. And then you asked about urban renewal. So obviously urban renewal is a part of urban planning, and the TDPO was citing different wrong regulations for the indictment. And then there are many names listed in the indictment without showing us or telling us exactly what they did wrong. And some of the evidences were text messages that Dr. Ke received or sent. So these are all efforts to smear his political persona. I have some follow-up comments here. Your question actually proves that the prosecutor's office and the mirror media that you just mentioned are twins. How can the mirror media obtain such information about what evidence or information the prosecutors were going to use? And if you know the media landscape, you know that $1 million is not enough to invest in creating a media company or a media outlet. So this is obviously some tools or weapons to persecute Dr. Ke Wen-je. And we want to reiterate here that we stand firmly that Ke is innocent. Okay. I have two questions about the indictment. In the indictment, Dr. Ke was portrayed as a dictator in the political party. For example, there were text messages showing that he was giving instructions in a dictator-like manner to councillors and legislators. And then the indictment also showed that these legislators were not acting on their own will. So I'd like to know how you respond to such portrait in the indictment. So this afternoon, we know that there's an open trial about whether Dr. Ke will be detained. And I'd like to know what you're going to do if Dr. Ke insists on resigning his presidency in the open trial. In response to your first question, I'd like to ask the prosecutors in Taipei, are you standing by justice, or are you being weaponized by the ruling party? Do you identify yourselves as legal experts or as politicians? So what you just quoted, I don't know how it's related to the allegations or to the political crimes. Those were subjective. Those were humiliating. And by including that in the indictment, aren't you just showing everyone in Taiwan that you are the weapons or the political tools of the Lai administration? Aren't you just telling all of us that? So aren't you just telling all of us that you are using whatever you can take to destroy柯文哲political life? This is an assassination of Ke's political personality. Round 1 was over. The first round took 4 months, and there were so many untruthful reports. There were some rumors saying that there were bitcoins, there were cold wallets, there were money worth $300 to $400 million, or there was cash in septic tank. So there were so many rumors and so many untruthful reports. So that was the first round. And today, the second round starts. So we have to keep fighting. And these campaigns are moving on to the second round. They are still destroying柯文哲political personality.
To answer your second question, stating whether Ko would be continue to be detained. So what I want to say is, by detaining Ko now is damaging the free will of all the voters that voted for Ko back at the time, not only TPP. Therefore, we would like to urge for an open trial to prove Ko's innocent. We firmly believe that Ko will be released with no bail because he never took briberies, and that he will be able to lead TPP. He is our chairman. We have no backup plan. The only person we need is Ko. Okay, thank you. Now I would like to ask all our party members to the stage. We would like to change some slogans so that the media will have one final frame for today's press conference.
我们往后退一步，好，好，那我们看是不是能站2排，好，来比较高的哈，或者是大家穿插着站。那我等一下会喊公开审理，释放柯 P， 我喊一句，大家跟我一起喊一句，公开审理，释放柯 P。
Okay, so I will then say open trial, release Ko.
释放柯 P， 公开
We want an open trial.
释放柯 P，
Release Ko.
好，谢谢。
We want an open trial.
我们要
Release Ko.
一起陪同柯文哲主席捍卫清白。我们呼吁
Thank all of you for being here.
也谢谢所有参与。
We must have firm beliefs to accompany Ko. We would like an open trial and we want Ko to be released. Thank all of you for your participation. Thank you for all our viewers also online. Thank you, co-supporters. Thank all of you for your support. This concludes our international conference. Thank you very much.